Hi, it's Jen. Here again to talk about cyclic vomiting syndrome. Um, Today I kind of want to talk about there seems to be that children are diagnosed much quicker than adults when it comes to CVS. And that is because, doing through some research of my own, I found that in the late 1800s it was put in the books and was being taught to pediatric doctors for children. They believed that children would grow out of it and that it would never come back. So it was firmly thought of as a pediatric disorder. They never believed that the adults had it. So now that there's more and more and more adults coming out, and the ERs are seeing more of us, and we see on the Facebook groups how there's just thousands of people now that we see from around the world that are telling our same story. And their doctors don't seem to know what it is. And my doctors didn't know what it is. And regardless of where I went or who I talked to, nobody knew what it was. And that's because they don't teach it in adult medicine. Children GIs, they basically go through it in school, and they're taught about the illness, and they're also taught that it goes away. So that's one thing that kind of delays any type of adult onset CVS diagnosis. A lot of our doctors haven't heard about it. If they didn't work in pediatrics, then they probably have never heard anything of it. So therefore, even with children and with us, there is a whole battery of tests we have to go through. In order to be diagnosed with CVS, there is not one test. It's basically a process of eliminating every possible other thing that could be causing all of the symptoms. And another thing doctors look for, I remember mine in particular, the first one I met, whom I got my diagnoses with, one of the key factors for him was, I told him, I said, my severe episodes last 18 to 20 hours. And he said, every time? And I said, yes. I said, they start that fast, and once I've run through the course of the hours, it stops that fast. And that was a big thing for him, because that's one of the huge things about CVS with, I would say, quite a few patients, is it starts and stops without question. You go from healthy to sick, from sick to recovering, and to healthy. And that's how mine hit. You know, there's the daily sufferers out there that, have the constant nausea and so on and so forth. So everybody's episodes are not exactly like that. But for mine, they're very definitive and timeline. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen 2 days in a row or something like that, because it very well can. I can stop, and then a few days later, bam, it's right back again. But I have found that the pediatric doctors do seem to know more. And it's frustrating for adults, because we're looking at these professionals for help, and they really don't know. And we tend to blame them for not knowing, because we figure it's their job. And unfortunately, if it's not something that's seen as a major thing in adults, they're not going to learn about it in their schooling and their residency and so on. So it's quite difficult for the adults. I would imagine some children's parents run across the same thing, where their kids are sick for a very long time and they're not sure. But I've definitely heard of much faster diagnoses when it comes to little ones. I don't know if it's easier to spot or if it's just something that they know to look for, where with us, the adults, they really don't. And the fact that they haven't written that it goes away usually around puberty and doesn't come back, that leaves the patients where it does come back, where basically you start the process all over again, because they don't believe, well, they didn't believe that it ever did return. So it's frustrating. I mean, I've said before that I was sick a lot as a child, but I didn't end up in the hospital from my vomiting. It was kind of funny. My mom, she would wake me in the morning, you know, what do you want for breakfast? And I was just a little tyke. And if I told her I wanted grilled cheese sandwiches, cheese is my best friend. I love cheese. Luckily, it doesn't bother my stomach. But when I was little, if I woke up and said that I wanted grilled cheese for breakfast, Mom knew. Call the daycare, call the school. I wouldn't be in that day. And she'd call her friend, my babysitter, and I'd go over there. And by the end of the day, I would be sick. And I would be laying on the couch at my sitter's house with a garbage can and a little plastic bag. And, you know, I'd be holding down the fort for the day. Just, you know, just being sick. And that's how my mom knew. It was the strangest thing. We even, you know, kind of chuckle about it today, because it's like, if Jen wanted a grilled cheese sandwich in the morning, forget it. She was going to be barfing by the afternoon. We didn't know why. We just, I mean, it just was kind of the way it was. I mean, if I was going to get sick, I was going to barf. You know, we never really put anything else into it, because they never, like I said, even now my episodes don't last over 24 hours, the severe part. So, you know, you just, your kid's got the flu, you know, they ate something wrong, something didn't settle with them, you know. And then once I hit puberty, I started with migraines, but I wasn't having the vomiting spells like I was. The migraines stayed. I had severe migraines. My doctors refused to diagnose me with migraines. They just kept saying I had bad sinus headaches, bad stress headaches. It was all in my head. Obviously, it's all in my head. It's going to explode, is basically what I wanted to scream at them. And then once it started hitting profusely again, where my friends were calling my parents, we think Jen needs to go to the hospital. That was in my early 20s. And I'm almost 40 now, real close to 40. And it, you know, it really hasn't changed. So, but hang in there, work with your doctors, keep finding different ones. As hard as that is, and as frustrating it is to keep telling your story to somebody different and hoping for a different result, and a lot of times it doesn't come, keep fighting. It's not normal to get sick the way we do. It's not the flu. It's not a stomach bug. It's, you know, just keep fighting. And if you have to, reach out to pediatric doctors and see if they'd be willing to at least talk to you. I mean, I don't know. That's something I haven't tried, but you never know. But I just wanted to share, that's one of the main things that I found, the reason why adults go so many years without diagnosis is because adult doctors, they really haven't, they haven't been introduced to this illness. And it's not their fault by any means, because it's considered a childhood disease. So why, you know, as a doctor who's going for adult medicine, you know, going to delve into that. So that's, I guess, my little bit of input on that. If I ever say anything that doesn't seem right, or if I say something that, you know, you'd like to wonder, or you'd like to know where I got my information from, or anything like that, you know, leave me a message here, comment on the video, you comment on my Facebook, send me an email. I mean, whatever, you know, you would like to do, because I'm basically putting myself out here to be like, just to spread the word. And I know I don't know everything. The doctors don't know everything. Everybody knows a little bit of information, basically, from our own care and our own experiences. So if anybody, you know, is too shy to put up their own things or whatever, just let me know, and I'd be more than happy to share your story and get the word out, because we don't need to suffer alone, because Lord knows we're not. There's a lot of us out there, and we all need to reach together and become one voice and become united. And I think if we could possibly achieve that, then we just might very well achieve some better medical care. And the future patients that have this will get better treatment than we have. And that's a big thing. So, cvsaonline.org, go find your information. Go on Facebook, look up groups. You don't have to suffer alone. There's a bunch of us out here, and we're just waiting to help each other get through this. The patients, we have each other, and you'll tell your story and people will understand, and it will be an amazing moment if it's the first time you've ever done it. So do yourself a favor and don't suffer in silence anymore. Reach out. We're out here, and we're willing to help. We're willing to share our information because we know the battle that you're in. You're not alone. You're not alone anymore. So this is Jen, and my opinion on why pediatrics are diagnosed faster than adults. So y'all have a nice day.